Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. My name is POV, and welcome back to another week of the Berserk 2016 anime. And to be honest, I know I've been rather critical towards this series, as you can tell from my previous overviews. This episode came off quite enjoyable. I will honestly have to say it wasn't the greatest, but it was definitely one of those episodes where the animation did not bother me, and I was actually kind of meh with Mozgus Apostle design when it first appeared on screen, but as the fight went on, like straight up, like I started liking it more and more. Like I really liked the way he was featured in this episode, and I hope that when we get the Berserk Muso game, that something similar to that is going to be represented in the game at least. Regardless, let me start off with the overview, and the episode starts off where last episode ended. That is Casca about to get burnt like a witch. Now, in the meantime, we switch over. Like the people are pulling her, they're putting her on the stake, and in the meantime, we switch over to Jerome, who is walking with Nina, and just pretending like he's on Fornice and Serpico's side, and saying like, yeah, like you filthy heathen, like we'll run as soon as possible, as soon as we get a chance, and he's just playing along, and then just Serpico, Isidro, excuse me, has to straight up ruin the illusion. He's like, fuck this kid. Then Isidro gets the idea of having like putting a rope around his waist and basically just falling from the tower and rescuing Casca, which he manages to do luckily. And in the meantime, we have the egg apostle that we were introduced to the past episode, straight up climbing the wall and being like my new world is going to be reborn, and he encounters the demon, that the creature that basically has been helping Casca out against these monsters in the past, the one that's been giving Guts warnings about what may have happened or will happen with Casca. And this creature, it has a physical body, it's clear, and but it looks weak and it looks like it's about to die. I remember in the manga at least, like it had a sheer look like it was about to straight up die any minute, and the apostle like swallows him and says like, I'll keep you warm, I'll you can be within me. So he doesn't really eat it, but he just guards him in his body and tells him, you can watch the world, you can watch a new world be reborn with me through my eyes. And by this time, Guts is just like slashed through multiple demons, and he's going after Mozgus now, because Mozgus, he saw Isidro saving Casca, and he's like, nope, you're not doing that. Like, she's gonna get burned because she's the one that's bringing all these madness, all these demons over here. And the fight starts off with Moscas in his rather angelic form, and slowly we transition towards after Guts lands one really hard blow. Moscas transforms into his apostle form, which in my opinion was one of like my favorite apostle designs so far. Aside from what we will eventually get in the anime, maybe there are some designs in the manga in the future that are absolutely my favorites. But this angelic one, like, it looks more of like a Goro design, Goro from Mortal Kombat, because he has like his two fists and he has his wings, excuse me, but they look like arms as well, which is absolutely, I loved it. Like I said, the animation, the 3D did not bother me with this one. At first, I was a little bit skeptical, but as the animation went on, as like just the shading and the coloring of him in this form, I absolutely loved. And it was like, there's not much I can say because this episode was mostly action packed with a good amount of story progression, but I guess the best thing about, aside from the fight, from the actual action, the best thing about the Moscus versus Guts fight was the conversation that they were having. Like, like Gus calling them out, like calling all the people out, like all you guys do is pray when something's wrong, like you depend on this god of yours, instead of doing things for yourselves. And it's one of those Kentaro Miura dialogues that I absolutely love, and that goes throughout Berserk, throughout multiple characters and multiple storylines, multiple arcs. And I just love his writing. I just love his the dialogues that this mangaka creates. And this conversation between Mozgus and Guts was a perfect example of it. Long story short, um, Gus is able to land one blow towards the chest. Moscus has a freaking Bible there. He tells him like, "Oh, as long as I'm protected by the Bible, like nothing's gonna happen." Like Christian, I mean religious bullshit. And the last blow that Gus tries to do doesn't properly land, so he just puts his hand like on his chest, like he's trying to hold on. Moscos thinks he's won the fight, but Guts happened to put bombs in that whole area where his sword landed the first time, which is going to create obviously an explosion. And Guts manages to get away before Moscos explodes. Now, the episode kind of ends with them just like Guts bringing wood and telling them like just put light these things up because we gotta move away from this. And Isidro also noticed that from Mosgus's corpse that landed on the ground, and became fire, like the demons were staying away from them. So it's obvious, I guess. The obvious implication is that these demons do not like fire or light, at least. So that's what they're going to use to traverse to safety. One thing that's worth noting is also that when Guts and Moscus were fighting, along the way, he notices that the egg apostle, when he had the creature in his body, he noticed the creature glowing, and Guts gave it a rather weird stare. For you anime only viewers, I'm not going to spoil what that means. And for you manga readers, you obviously know what that's going to lead to eventually. But regardless, overall, it was a pretty decent episode, and I can't complain. It was rather enjoyable, I must admit. And now to head over to the three things that I talk about in every anime overview: the animation, the pacing, and value to the overall plot. Animation, like I said, the 3D still bothers me, but with Moscos, at least the fighting and dialogue, the way everything went down, did not upset me as much. And despite the animation being something that I'm not too crazy about, the episode overall was still rather enjoyable. The pacing, really well paced. A lot happened. It was a nice, a nice switch between little events happening, then the main fight occurring, and then little other side events happening towards the end of the conclusion, where Gus is basically just holding Casca like everything's all right, don't worry. And value to the overall plot, well, Moscus, our big bad guy, is kind of dead. All the angels as well, so that's that. And we notice that the egg apostle is carrying the creature within him. The creature seems to glow, so that may imply something that we're not too aware of at this moment. And so that's, I guess you could say, a little bit mystery added towards the storyline so far in this 2016 anime, at least. But yeah, otherwise not much else that other than the fact that that Guts' current party, the current group, has to get the fuck out of there. Regardless, my name is LPOV. If you enjoyed this anime overview, just let me know down in the comments down below what you thought about this. Hit the like button down below. It would mean the world to me. And just tell me what do you guys think about the Moscus fight? Did you hope that it would have been longer? What do you think about the pacing? What do you think of Moscus as a villain on its own? Because I feel that, and I don't know if I mentioned this in my last overview, but I feel like he was a lot more menacing in the manga than he was in the actual anime. I didn't feel as much fear or disgust, or like he was a threat that much at all. and maybe because the events happened so quickly and that it just flew over me. But that's that. Like, tell me what you guys thought about him. Which of the angels did you enjoy the most? The bird, the imp, the twins, the angel face? I personally like the bird the most, just because of like the more of the old school witch doctor kind of mask that he had on, and it just suited perfectly with his angelic form, and then like the bird claws. So, but yeah, let me know what you guys thought about this. Any speculations on what the implication is with that egg apostle and the creature inside his body? You manga readers, please do not spoil anything. If you do want to talk about that, then just put spoiler text in capital letters, please. Don't ruin the fun for everyone. Because the surprise is pretty surprising, and I personally enjoyed it in the manga. So I'm curious to see what the reaction is going to be towards the new viewers next week. Regardless, my name is Yo POV. Have a good week and goodbye.